way though, cause we.
Okay. Yeah, if you can walk, my bad, brother.
It's coming. That's the next like. The inside work, and he did good inside work, but it could be better. That's the next phase of development, right? He got hundreds of fights, fighting on the outside, picking guys apart, and that's his comfort zone. But there were spots where he could have stepped in and really just gave Joette what he was looking for, because Joette was doing a lot of pump faking. He was doing a lot of this, and he'd get inside and really wasn't doing nothing.
He was doing like a two-step, like lunging in.
Shakur could have got Floyd him. He could have hit him with the Gotti Floyd, where he really just stood there, let him shoot his stuff, and then hit him in between that and walk. But it would have been bad. That's what I was calling for. It's coming though. It's coming.
I mean, only 13
What's
fights.
Some of that movement, you in shape right now. Look at you. You already.
You looking slim.
Yeah, he already moved. Why that got him warrior?
Just good living. Just good living. And working hard. That's all I'm doing.
One thing that Shakur was doing, there was like the baby Mayweather, baby Dre. He was jabbing and like sticking to the solar plexus earlier in the fight.
Yes.
And I think that was paying dividends late. And I know you do that all the time.
I stole it from Floyd. And other fighters pick up on it. We steal it from each other, but that's a long range body shot. That hurts. It's demoralizing, man. Like that's bad when you sitting head up and all of a sudden, boom, you get stabbed in the solar. That's tough. And like you said, it starts to sap you.
Now, Dre, gotta ask. You said living good. I mean, obviously, you got your wife, your youngest child here with you. You got kids playing football. You able to make it out to some of the games?
Come on, baby.
You able to make it out to some of your son's games and things like that, and just enjoy those key moments in life?
I've always done that, even when I was active. The lighting good for you?
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, we can make it work. Move down this way.
I always did that, but the cool part now about being retired is like I don't have a training camp hanging over my head. So it was always like I'm with the family for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, and I always knew like I gotta go. I got an 8-week camp coming up. I got press conference. I got this. Not having that pressure, man, is amazing. I got the baby bag on.
With the bottle.
Trying to help my wife. I got the baby bag on. Hey, this life. This the dad life, man.
Hey, Dre, I gotta ask: is your son? Is that your phone or your wife's phone? He's holding.
He got my wife's phone, man. He's an expert, bro.
Division you conquered, and you said you left it in good hands. What'd you think of the Beterbiev? I heard your ESPN thoughts, but Beterbiev Vostok, man, he kept coming. He had the power. What'd you think of the performance from both?
I thought Vostok did a good job, but it kind of ended the way I thought it was going to end. Beterbiev is a problem, man. He is a problem. You hear people say the guys are strong, but he's like one muscle.
Yeah, he's a tank.
Beterbiev is like one muscle. And like he does this thing when he throws his punches, like he thrusts his body into the punches, like so he's bringing the punch and his body. So it's almost like you're getting hit twice. And stuff just starts to wear you down if you're not physically strong enough to deal with it. And Vostok was good that night, just not good enough.
Now I gotta ask you this: Canelo Kovalev.
Come on, get in there, man.
Canelo.
That's me.
I thought that was you.
That's Kurt from Reno, way back.
Yeah, but who you with?
Boxing Insider.
I thought you was champ side.
Right here, the one
Wait
man
a second,
army
man.
Right
but I seen you in
one-man
LA.
army right here.
You see me, yeah.
I seen you in LA.
And a couple times.
I know I've seen you multiple times, but I seen you.
We just looking like that stuff.
Bro, I thought that was champ side. Why you keep letting me say champ side?
That's why I told him to come through.
That was me.
Bro, I thought that was you, bro.
I look back and immediately I thought it was.
Boxing Insider. Champ side, what's up, baby?
What's good?
I think you set the blueprint for Kovalev. You know, I think a lot of people probably agree with me. Canelo Kovalev. What do you think at this point in Kovalev's career and Canelo?
It's tough, man. It's a tough call. I've said I could see Canelo late, but then I see Canelo putting all this mass on and talking about bulking and building. That's the wrong thing to do. You think that's the right thing to do when you're moving up. Fighters won't admit it, but you have insecurity. You want to look the part. You don't want people saying you look too small. That has me concerned about Canelo because Canelo fades late in fights at his normal weight. So now you're going to put on an extra 10, 12, whatever it is, and you think that's not going to weigh you down? Come on, man. That's going to weigh you down. So I'm teetering on my Canelo late prediction. I don't know. But I don't have, and I know the people going to say, oh, this is hating. I'm not hating. I'm keeping it real. I have zero faith in Kovalev as a fighter right now. Kovalev has been, that's a good headline. Kovalev has been, he's been selling a lot of wolf tickets. Ward this and Ward cheated and this and that. It's not that. No, I'm good. I'm not doing this. Training camp was great. And then you really get the real story behind the scenes, and it's like, that's not true. And then your performance shows it. He said that if he got stopped in a fight with Yard, this is Kovalev, I'm quoting him right now, that if I got stopped in that fight, I was going to retire. Well, we know he was a punch or two away from getting stopped. So that tells me you're a punch or two away from retiring. That's the guy that Canelo's facing right now. Does that mean that Canelo's not taking a risk? No, he gets credit for taking a risk. He's going up 2 weight classes. Kovalev isn't the crusher anymore. He's Sergey Kovalev, but he's still formidable. He's still dangerous early. I don't know. I'm going back and forth as far as my predict because I can see it going a lot of different ways. I think it's just a good fight to watch and see how it plays out.
It sounds like it's Canelo regardless, just how. Is that?
I don't know.
You said Kovalev.
I don't know.
We know he's heavy-handed, but you said, and I thought this resonated with me, you said he's not that strong.
He's a solid puncher.
No, you said he's not that strong.
I know, but I'm going back to the first thing. He's a solid puncher. And no, he's not physically strong. Which is
and a lot
just
of
his
people
body.
understand
Like, if you look at his body, he got the curved back. Like, his core is not strong. Like, the type of build that he has and the way he bounces, like he presents himself like he's bigger than what he actually is. And then you add in the knockouts and stuff, and he's good at long range. But if you get past that, then all of a sudden you got a different fighter. That's what my coach was a master at, and that's what he taught me. Okay, we acknowledge what a guy does great and what he does well. But if we put him in this position, what does he do? He's a different guy, right? Yeah, he's a different guy. You take away a fighter's greatest strength. He doesn't know anything other than just being long range, boxing, being in his rhythm, and you being afraid of him and allowing him to rest when he wants to rest and fight when he wants to fight. No. I'm going to fight when you want to fight, and then I'm going to fight when you want to rest. And then we're going to see what you're working with.
What would you take away from Canelo?
As far as?
Greatest strength. Like, what would you take
I think Canelo's a good boxer. I think he's an underrated boxer. I think he has a good power, but I don't know about what kind of power he's gonna have putting all the mass on. It's gonna take away from his power.
Would you think that?
I was gonna say, like, I know, and I keep going back to this, but that's the mistake I made in the first fight. I had stuff going on with the knee and all of that, but like my mindset, if I'm honest, I was a little concerned about looking the part. You learn, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking, trying to make sure, man, that, you know, people consider me a real light heavyweight instead of saying, and Verge the whole time, and I wasn't listening. He's like, son, you big enough, you strong enough. You've always fought bigger guys. Just speed. Don't worry about nothing else. You strong, and it's hard to accept that sometimes. So anytime you move up, a fighter's gonna want to look the part. I think that's what Canelo's doing. I think that's gonna hurt him a little bit, but I don't think it's gonna hurt him enough where he's gonna lose the fight, though. I don't think this is gonna be enough to lose the fight.
6 days prior to the Beterbiev Vosdick fight, Bivol defended his title, went the distance. Did you happen to catch his performance? And if so,
I didn't catch it. He won a decision, right?
He did.
That's gonna be a good fight though, because Bivol is he's a good boxer. You know,
right.
I've seen him personally. I've done a sit-down one-on-one with him for the show I was doing with HBO, Chasing Greatness, and he's a good boxer, man. And I don't think he's gonna get hit with some of the stuff that Vosdick got hit with. I don't think. So I would love to see those guys fight right now. It's a good fight.
Now, a fight I wanted back in the day, you and Triple G.
Hold on one sec. Baby, where did you park at? Babe. Okay. I'm sorry.
Fight I wanted to see with you back in the day when you were at 68, you and Triple G.
Yeah.
I don't think you wanted no smoke. What do you think of Triple G? Did you see his last performance?
I did.
With
Did you feel he won that fight?
Beterbiev?
No, I thought he lost. Yeah, I don't think he did enough.
Now,
You know.
speaking.
Even with the knockdown, I don't
sorry.
think he did enough.
Speaking of that fight, and then you bringing up Virgil, a lot of things that we see in today's day and age, fighters lose and they instantly change trainers, or things like that. What was it? What was the key between yourself and Virgil and being able to keep that relationship in and outside of the ring? We see it more and more in the boxing world today. Fighters take a loss, the fighters don't look as good as they want, and all of a sudden they switch trainers. What do you?
I mean, for me and him, though, it was bigger than boxing. Like, that was my godfather. Like, he filled the role of my dad when my dad passed. So we're going to be together regardless. I mean, we've had, our stuff, normal life stuff. But, like, as far as boxing, like, I know he was the best guy for me. I couldn't imagine anybody else being in my corner. And you know, you saw it in Kovalev won and many other fights, but Kovalev won specifically. Like in that moment, like you better have a guy that loves you and cares about you and that knows you and that can tell you the right thing in that moment. Or you may get some instructions that sound good, but they're not really what you need to hear. So, we've been through rough moments before, and it's funny, man. Like I really take it as a compliment, though. You know, the whole you lost the first Kovalev fight, and I've always acknowledged that fight was close, could have went either way. I give people that, but I think where people gotta listen to what they're saying. Like you can't, and I've said this before, but you can't cry rivalry in a fight that was close like that. And I know casual fans and even some hardcore fans, they see a knockdown, they think that's the difference. Oh, you got knocked down. But me and Stephen A go back and forth about this. You lost that fight. How much, Stephen A? By 1 point. Come on, man. So that means that every round that was close, that was a swing round, this person got it right. It could go either way. But I look at that as a compliment because that's the standard that we've been held at my whole career, where you can't slip. If anybody else gets knocked down, it's not a big deal. But you get knocked down, oh my God. If you don't look good, that's the standard. But that standard was the same standard that Roy was under, same standard that Floyd was under, same standard that Bernard was under. And people don't realize that standard like really pushed us to be at a level that was elite. That type of pressure and knowing it, I can't lose. I can't look bad. That's the stuff that, man, it'll have you out there. That's why you see Floyd running 5 in the morning, because he knows if Floyd Mayweather loses or look bad, that's a big story. If I look bad or lose, same thing. Same thing Roy went through, Bernard went through. So I don't take offense to that stuff, man. I look at that stuff as a compliment. I embrace it, and I keep it moving.
What about the standard as far as carrying yourself outside the ring? Because people will take an instance with Shakur Stevenson and overblow it or really go in on it. But guys like Sergey Kovalev can have domestic violence issues, and I don't want to get on to it, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it'll kind of just get passed over.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you had to be sure to maintain yourself or carry yourself a certain way throughout your career? And can you speak on the double standards?
I mean, I can just speak for me. You know, I wasn't for sale. You know what I mean? I wasn't for sale. I'm not going to dance for you. I'm not going to be anything less than what I feel like God wants me to be. And it's not a perfect person. I make mistakes every day. But and what people saw and what people see is real. But I'm trying to be somebody that my kids can look to and say, man, I want to be like my dad one day. I'm trying to be a good finisher in life, man. I'm not just trying to have a moment in boxing where I get some shine, make a few dollars, but then everybody's wagging a finger at me 10 years later saying, man, look at this dude, man, he's messed up, he's in jail, prison. How many stories have we heard like that? Too many. So Shakur has made his mistakes. He's facing them. He's dealing with them. I personally haven't heard one excuse. I admire that. I can't speak on Kovalev. He's got to work that out. We can't worry about the double standards, and there are double standards in the sport, and I've spoken about this stuff multiple times. We just got to focus on how we handle our business, you know, and that's all I'm focused on with Shakur. We're not gonna have a moment in this, son. We gonna keep progressing. God willing, we get to the mountaintop where you're the best fighter in the world one day. You stay there as long as you want, and then when you're ready, you walk away and you have everything intact. So that's that. We're looking at big picture. People are gonna be people, man. People have prejudice. They have bias. They have stuff in their hearts. All of us do. We got stuff in our hearts, and some people have it at different levels. And you see it I see that. They got to work that out. Because sometimes you can speak to that stuff, and I've spoken to stuff, and y'all know that. I've talked to you about this stuff. And it's like, oh yeah. If people don't want to hear it, they'll plug their ears and be like, oh, I don't want to hear he's making excuses. Okay, well, you can only say it so many times. So I don't get too much involved in the day-to-day stuff that I see in boxing, the double standards. I try to speak on it when I feel compelled and then leave it alone and keep trying to be a good example and keep trying to push guys like Shakur to be good examples.
Dre, lastly, you spoke about walking away at the
and
right
that guy's
time.
a good example too, Andre Berto, man. Hey, man, I remember that guy. Hey, listen, I remember that guy. Listen,
I'm not even supposed to be here. Reno.
yeah, let's keep him off camera. Never mind. He's not supposed to be here. I got one more question, y'all.
Yeah,
What's up, baby?
You spoke about walking away and walking away at the right time. Man, to this day, I still think about you walking away from that 3-fight deal.
Sure, I think about it too. Like,
Man, talk to us about that mentality. I mean, your wife's right here, and you spoke, I believe it was on the Joe Rogan podcast, on just having to really seek her and just seek guidance. And what was going through your head? Do you regret it at all? Sometimes.
No, I don't regret it. That's a tough word. But I have days when I'm like, dude, what did you do? Like, that's crazy. Like, it's days that I think about it and I can't believe I did that, right? But I know it was the right thing to do. I know how my body felt, and it's not like I'm broke up where I'm on a cane, but like I had multiple surgeries, physical therapy. Nobody's around for that stuff, man. You know, crying and praying and trying to hope that your body gets back. You know how many situations I've been in where I didn't necessarily, there's no guarantee that I was gonna come back the same. With the shoulder, with the knee, you know, so you get enough of those in, and I know the way I train, and I know the way I worked, and it's like, it's time. I can't explain it. Outsiders won't understand it. They're looking at what's on the table. And I'm looking, it's a feeling, it's something deep inside where you just know, like, it's time. I got too much respect for myself, my team, and this sport to be a guy in here stumbling around and y'all are writing like, man, Ward don't look like itself. I can't go out like that, man. So I would rather deal with the pain of walking away, the feelings of wanting to come back, missing out on stuff, you know, money and stuff like that. All that's cool. I'm thinking long term, man. I'm thinking about my wife. I'm thinking about my kids. I'm thinking about my long term health, and hopefully I can be one of the guys that could make walking away on top popular again. You know, Ryan Burton just walked away. I love it. He said, man, I felt my body. You just know.
27.
Come on, man. That's going to become popular. You watch. It just takes a few guys to jump off the porch and say, man, I'm done. And then other guys get the courage to do it. The story we have is we stay around too long. Somebody got to change that.
Absolutely.
So I hope to be one of many to do it. Ryan Burton, man, congratulations. Great career. Maybe you didn't do everything you wanted to do, but you had a great career at champion. Respect to you. And, yeah, man, it's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing. So, yeah, I got all the emotions. Any emotion you can grab, I feel it. But it's the right thing to do. I did the right thing.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your...
All good, man. Appreciate it.
Yo, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, entitled betting shows. The list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.